With my regards to Broadway. Remember me. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Picture This. Picture This, a musical starring Charles King, Anita Page, and Bessie Love, wins Best Picture. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Picture This, the Best Picture movie review show, hosted by the person who's seen the least amount of them. It is week 2, and spoiler alert, we're going to shit on this movie for an amount of time that I deem necessary. My name is Alex, and if you thought mid was bad, just allow me to introduce you to Kill It Before It Lays Eggs. With me is Jack Pinchuk, who hasn't flown in over a week, but is still high as fuck. Also joining us, Dracula makes him horny. It's Matthew Chen. Also joining us is a writer-director so good he has the best letterboxd review of Singing in the Rain. It's Kaleb Coho.
Oh, he back, baby!
Adelaide actually couldn't be here because they also watched Dracula and got super horny. We'll deal with that in a second. Replacing him on the panel, it's a great fucking human. It's Mike Hanley.
Yeah, it fucking is.
All right. Like I said, it is week 2, and we are here to talk about the second official Best Picture winner, the Broadway Melody. I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy the movie. I don't think it's very good. I thought I wanted to die in the middle of it. But we have an order, we have a way of doing things on this show that I can't ignore because technically I came up with the rules. Yeah. Engine 29's Broadway Melody. We go now to the person that we all agree is the plot player amongst all of us.
Oh,
the
we're
best
starting
one.
with the plot, baby.
We're going to Plot Boy. Kaleb Coho.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to 1929, where we're on the first of a franchise films that they decided, fuck creativity, it's the same name every time. We're just going with the first one. Broadway fucking Melody starts as any great story about show business starts, with a fucking song and dance number. But you can't fucking hear it. You know why? Because we're going to a room of just 20,000 people singing different songs at the same fucking time until the me of all me's, the mood, this fucker named Eddie, walks up and is just like, hey, boss, I got a song for you. But if everyone could just shut the fuck up, you could hear it. So they get everyone to do exactly that. Shut the fuck up. And this is the point where I wish the movie would also do so. Because then they sing a song called the Broadway Melody. I believe it's called I don't know. I'm going to assume because they sing it 20 times from here on out, ladies and gents. 20 times for a musical soundtrack to be like 3 songs, and one of them is done 30 times. Man, they trademarked the Broadway Melody. We're like, we're riding this thing to the fucking bank. Love it. The song itself is fine. Can we agree on that? The song itself is kind of fine. It's mid.
The song is fine, but what I'll say is that clarinet is a weird accompaniment instrument for. Oh, look who's supposed to be here but isn't.
Yeah, and is able to watch the show and not be here. Fired. Matthew, what do you think of the song?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, I don't remember it anymore, but like it's fine in the moment.
Oh, I can tell you it ends with them just singing the words "the Broadway Melody" as if he's Michael fucking Bublé. Just, Broadway Melody. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Eddie.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Mid.
Or mid. And then we're introduced to two ladies that I think their names are Hank and Queenie. I believe those are the names. Yep. They said the names, and I went, huh. One of you's in a Fantastic Beasts movie. The other one is in jail. But then they're like in an apartment. I think it's the apartment. They start in the apartment, right? Yeah. Listen, this is a hard plot to recap, folks. They're in the apartment, and they take turns washing clothes and taking shots. It's a weird scene. And then their manager, Uncle Man, comes in, and for some reason he has a stutter. And this performance is truly terrible. This
Right.
guy's performance is truly bad. Coming in and just
him.
stuttering at random points because he's supposed to, and it's supposed to be funny because he has a stutter. But like, why is that funny? Why is that funny, Hollywood? Anyway, the fucking manager owner Uncle Man decides to just give them he's like orders breakfast. Then breakfast shows up from room service.
Can I just say one thing really bothered me about this part?
Yeah.
Tip the fucking guy that's getting you your breakfast.
Yeah, right? They're such assholes to him.
Tip the guy that's getting you your breakfast. You do a whole thing where you're like, here, you stand by the window and then tell me when to come stand by the window so we don't have to pay the guy. Pay the guy.
Pay the guy.
You live in fucking New York. Pay the guy.
Pay the man his money. Then oh man, what the fuck is the guy? One of them in Fantasy. This is true. Fandom. Then fucking what's his boy? Eddie comes in. And instantly the creepiest perv you've seen in a protagonist ever. This guy.
Can I creep on your sister for like
this dude's
movie?
dating Hank, I think. And I say I think because I don't think they ever explicitly make it clear that those two are a thing. I don't know. They are a thing, but they aren't. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't make it clear, but they
The
are.
two sisters were kissing like 20 seconds ago, and I didn't know they were sisters at that point, and I was about to make a whole Game Is My Valley spit out of it. That this established they were sisters, so let's not go there. Let's not licorice pizza this shit. So then Eddie is like, sees Queenie, and he's all like, aren't you just the cutest kid? Is the way he's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? The fuck? I hate everything to do with Eddie. I hate Eddie so much. He's just so creepy. And he like keeps like, he says something like, you're an angel put on this earth specifically for me. And it's like, bro, pump the brakes. You just saw this kid for the first time in like fucking, I don't know, however many thousands of whatever. How do you guys know each other, first of all? How does anyone in this movie know anyone? Well, I don't have any backstory, no lines of dialogue to establish how anyone knows each other, except for the uncle and the sisters. Gonna guess they're related. Anyway, then he's like, hey guys, I got a fucking song to show you. What is it? Hit it, boys. The Broadway fucking Melody song we heard less than 5 minutes ago. We hear it again in full with a full dance number, and they just know it. This is the only actual real musical number in this movie, because everything else in this movie is like, oh, we're just performing for an audience that would be there. It's a music film with one random musical number where they're like just jumping, dancing. She's doing some kick shuffle thing, ballroom change in the middle of the room. And then Eddie says that he can get them into the Broadway review of Fred Zinnemann. I can't remember the guy's name. Frederick Frucker from. The Fred Zinnemann Jr. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is letting everyone dance, and then the fucking girls show up, and Eddie's like, yo, I run shit around here. And then they tell him to jump in the line. He says, yes, sir. Which I admit went, funny. Marx Brothers comedy. And then they do the dancing audition, but some lady in the kick line chorus just randomly decides to have beef with them and puts some shit in the piano, which I didn't quite understand what she did. So I'm watching them play the piano, and then it doesn't work, and then they cut inside, and there's just like is it a brick? Is it a purse?
It's like her purse. It's like a small clutch gets put in the keys of the piano, so it doesn't sound good.
Sure, that makes sense.
It's like something straight out of like Burlesque, where the mean girl that's played by like Kristen Bell is like, I hate her. It's
like, why is there conflict? There's no established conflict here, except to be like, oh, she's new. She might take my job. I'm going to sabotage her audition, which like, sure, would make sense if you like clearly meant like demonstrated that that's the motivation. Look, this thing was nominated for 3 Oscars: Picture, Actress, and Director. So we'll be very happy that the writing was not recognized here. Because, you know who'd be very proud of this kind of writing? Fucking Ed Wood himself. Chef's kiss. Tommy Wiseau would call this a great script. The fuckers then do their big dancing audition, doesn't go through, but he likes Queenie, so he hires Queenie, and then Queenie's like, but we're a package deal, so Hank, you're gonna get hired too, but we're gonna make you feel like you did it, and we're not gonna let on to the fact that I got you the job, even though you're like supposed to be the business manager. There's it's a weird conflict that is then introduced that is never really paid off or resolved later either. It's like, why would you, what's the point of this whole thing? Of bruising egos, and then Eddie is creepy to Queenie again, where he's like, "Oh, you're just so swell, kid," and I hate that he keeps calling her kid. I hate it. It's so gross. Stop. And then fucking, oh shit, where do we even go from here? I don't even remember. They probably go back to the hotel room.
Hang on. Well, okay. After, yeah, it's it might have to push forward here, but yeah, what's his face continues to be a like massive creep, but it's okay because we add more creeps. We add in easily 3 more creepy guys.
Oh, that's true. We get these other creepy dudes, and we get the
fundraisers. We get the people with the money behind the show.
One of them's name's Jock.
Jock.
Yeah, Jock Warrener. And,
Jock Warrener.
Yeah. Fun fact: it's supposed to sound like Jack L. Warner, who was the head of Warner Brothers Studio at the time, which is the rival MGM.
Oh, so that's
a great fun fact,
MGM was trying. They knew what they were doing. They were gonna make the slightly antagonistic, creepy, anti-love interest, rapist-looking dude. Maybe the guy from Warner Brothers was a creep, but they just wanted to make him the guy. Maybe they were just ahead of the curve. No, they weren't. Let's not give them that credit. Also, can I just mention, I didn't know this was an MGM movie, and the MGM lion happens, and I went, man, that's a bad lion logo. That's real shitty in comparison to what we get later. But then, the fundraiser.
Actually, in the middle of the movie, like first 45, Eddie says, "Hey, Queenie, I know that I'm engaged to your sister or whatever, but like, I love you."
Oh yeah, I remember.
Okay,
so I didn't realize there was nothing before this. Okay, we go full bore into, hey, I want to cheat on my fiance with you, who is her sister, which is like, wow, pump the brakes, Harvey, fucking weirdo. And then fucking she's very clearly like, nah, not into this, homie, not into this whatsoever. And
so
then
she runs away with Jacques.
Yes.
Oh, this is the part. Are we at the party yet?
Honestly, there's a lot of bullshit.
There's a lot of bullshit that just randomly sort of happens. Let's just say we're at the party. Fuck it. They're gonna throw a party. Hank's gonna throw a party for Queenie, because then she comes in with the cake, and then Eddie leaves, and then they have the party, and then she comes in and she's like, "Party's not happening," whatever. And then fucking Queenie is off with Jacques at a much more swankier upscale thing. And in the middle of here, there's like rehearsals and shit. There's gonna be a lot of rehearsals and shit happening. They don't matter.
We'll circle back around to rehearsals. I have some thoughts.
Yeah, we'll go back to the rehearsals. We'll put the rehearsals with the performance at the end because they're all the same one-line, giant kick line, sing the Broadway melody 2 more times bullshit. So the fucking the A plot of romance here, that's just creepy as shit, keeps on going because then Jacques is like, she calls him Mr. Warner, and he's like, call me Jacques. And she's like, sure. And then he goes to kiss her, and she's like, Mr. Warner. And you're like, oh, is this supposed to be funny? Because it's not funny. I kind of just want to turn this off. That's my big issue with this movie. We'll get to it, though. And then fucking... here's the real issue with this movie. This movie has no consistent plot that isn't just redundancy after redundancy after redundancy. So if I say one line, it really means 20 scenes happen with the same scene. So then... Hank kicks Eddie out of a thing, out of the room, tells him that he's yellow, and he runs, and then he gets beat up by some guys, and Queenie helps him, and then they fall in love. That's literally that's the gist of what happens there. Queenie falls in love with the guy, which is like, wow, creep wins in the end. And so then Hank and Eddie break up. Queenie gets with Eddie. They do the big Broadway melody. The composer is like, yo, I'm fucking with Eddie because Eddie's a dick. And it's like, yeah, go. I'm on team composer. Fuck with this bitch. He sucks. I hope he plays the wrong note every time, so Eddie sounds like he's a jackass. And then we'll just wrap up this part and then go back to the reviews and all that shit. Because the fucking ending that drives me up a wall is Eddie and Queenie are going to stay together and get together, which Hank said that she needs to find a guy like Eddie. So she just jacks Eddie right up from her head. So they're now together. And Hank's like, you know what? Fuck Broadway. I'm going to fucking Peoria, Illinois, to go be in some show with some rando and my uncle manager. And we're just going to fuck off to Peoria. And fucking Queenie's going to stay here with Eddie and live on Broadway. And it feels like the beginning of a third act where we would actually have a third act and real conclusions would happen. But I've never been so happy with bad screenwriting in my life because we just end here and we just end it early. Thank God. And then let's talk about the rehearsals in the show, because the rehearsals in the show could be their own thing.
Yes.
Go ahead. You have thoughts?
Here's the thing about the rehearsals. There's a point in every like theater like rehearsal process where production does want to kill each other.
Yes.
They don't usually throw lights at each other.
I was gonna say,
like full on murder charge, like attempted murder assault charge, like throwing lights at each other is still illegal, I think. Just
Definitely.
like trying to crack each other. It's like the most unprofessional work environment ever. And it's, I'm going to say it. It brought the movie down for me. I'm just going to say it. The 9 creeps in this movie, the random murder attempts. What else? The bizarro ending where she's like, I'm going to come back in 6 months with a new partner and I'm going to be on Broadway myself. What was the point? Why are we here? What are we doing? Is this not about you finding success in Broadway? Where is the echo coming from?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Jack? No? Matthew?
what?
Is the echo coming from you?
I think it is.
No.
It's coming from-
It's Coho.
The fuck?
Anyway, I would say that I found this movie very unpleasant, very unwatchable. Jack, you've been quiet. Would you say that there are any standout performances?
Jack?
Gun to my head. If I had to pick a stand-up performance, I'd probably go Bessie Love.
Who is she?
Hank.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bessie was nominated for the Best Actress Oscar.
That's true.
Notably, she did not win. Probably because we didn't know who she was at the end of the movie. Mike, if you had to give me like a standout performer.
I would have said Hank, but since Jack picked it, I'll probably say fucking Eddie, because at least Eddie has something. He's a creepy asshole. He has at least something to do in the movie. The rest of them are just kind of there.
Fair. Advocating for creeps, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Hanley. Matthew?
Yeah, I think I would agree with Jack. Just Bessie Love. You know, she got the role because of her vaudeville act, and she played a ukulele, and then said that she got cast.
Does she play a ukulele in the movie?
Not that
No. No, she's not.
She got cast.
Great.
You know, because she played
Not
Not a ukulele in sight.
Great. Yes, this movie's ukulele to clarinet ratio is way off. And Mr. Coho.
I just had to look it up for her name just to make sure I'm right. But I guess Anita Page. Queenie's good, I guess. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Here's my issue. This movie has nothing super special or redeeming about it.
No.
It's just hella creepy. And that's the thing, is it doesn't think it's creepy. This movie doesn't know that it is creepy. This movie is just like, oh, men coming on a little strong, but they're rewarded at the end, and you're like, what the fuck, Hollywood? The fuck,
We-
Broadway? No wonder we had a whole epidemic and had to reveal a bunch of creeps. No wonder why Weinstein thrived in this society. If these movies were made, of course he's encouraged to be here. Fuck this movie.
Yeah, I guess really what we have to do is we have to address the elephant in the room, and that is weird abuses of power. I hate this. I hate this movie. It's very, very creepy. Not just from like the Eddie perspective, from like the Jacques perspective. It's like Jacques travels with two other dudes that are like encouraging him, that are like, hey, you know, my boys over here thought that I couldn't get a date with the prettiest girl in town, and she's like, I mean, yeah, you probably could, but like, what are we doing? He's like, no, you don't understand. I mean, you. And she's like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta go, man. And he's like, nah, come on, let's go to dinner. And she's like, I'm not getting out of this. All right, I guess yeah, sure. Let's go to dinner. And then, you know, there are perks that come with that, and she's like, whatever about it. And then at the end, as it turns out, you don't want creeps in your life. Is that the point of this movie? Everybody,
No,
is that you don't want
it's
creeps
not.
in your life?
No, but it's not, because Quinny ends up with her creep.
That's true.
Like, Quinny ends up with the guy who literally is like sexually harassing her for most of this film.
That's true. When an older person calls me kid and is like constantly like, you know, you've really grown up. You were really weird looking when I first saw you, but now you look great. Like, I always think I should fall in love with this person.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's just that's the thing that baffles me, is that like these people are rewarded, and he's rewarded for his efforts. I hate that. I think this movie's terrible. I'll be honest, I started watching it, and I was just like, you know, everyone gave it like half stars and 1 stars, and everyone said I'm either gonna love it or hate it, and there's no in between. And I was like, well, at the start of this, I don't think it's terrible. I think it's fine so far with this first singing of the Broadway Melody, whatever. And then the whole first segment in the bedroom starts happening, and I'm like, it starts rolling downhill, and then it never recovers. And literally by the time we get to like the hour mark of this movie, I went, oh yeah, okay, I'm with them on that. I don't know how you can genuinely, if you've seen the Broadway Melody, justify putting it any higher than, I will assume this will probably be a bottom 3, bottom 5 best picture for us by the end of this whole thing. And I don't know if you can really justify putting it any higher than that, unless there's some genuinely really terrible movies coming up. But this was a whopping doozy, let me tell you.
I'm just curious because, I mean, me and Co have been very vocal about being anti-creep, but I just want to give everybody a shot to be anti-creep.
Say it with your chest, guys. Are you anti-creep?
I'm going to go back here.
I am quite anti-creep, yes.
I am.
Okay,
anti-creep.
Matthew?
Yes, I am.
Anti-creep? Mike?
Yes.
Okay, it is the stance of this show that this is a super creepy movie, and I'll be honest, I don't think you should watch it. I know this is like the point of the show is that like, hey, we're watching this together and we're going through the pain of it, but I'll be honest, you shouldn't watch the Broadway Melody, and if you do, you should be very prepared. This is your content warning.
This is your trigger warning, honestly.
This is your trigger warning. Like, a woman gets like pinned to a wall by like a guy,
and almost made out with, and then it is literally broken up because the guy's fiance,
because the other
sister of the girl, walks in, and she doesn't see it.
Yeah,
but they're right there at the door. I fucking hate.
Okay, it is the stance of this show and everyone that we have had on it that creep is bad. Don't creep.
Yeah. Don't creep. Radiohead can fuck off.
Yeah. The Lonely Island. Don't do the creep.
Don't do the creep. Don't do it.
Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's also discuss some of the weirder elements of the movie. That being, what is it with these sisters? Like,
they're really close.
They're really close. They're like.
All right, Alex, hit the song.
We're gonna go now to our favorite segment from last week, which is How Gay Was My Valley?
Matthew, hit the song. Someone hit the song. Mike, hit the song. Sing the song. Someone just whined. Someone just whined for half a second. Welcome to How Gay Is My Valley, the podcast within a podcast. My name is Kaleb Coho. I am your host. My co-host Adelaide Spence not here today, so I'm joined instead by Alex, the backup Martinez. And on today's How Gay Was My Valley, we are talking on PTA levels of creepy. How close are these two sisters? Honestly, it's one of those things where they say they're sisters. We don't really know if they are blood sisters or not. They don't even particularly look very much alike. Are they potentially closeted lovers?
I'm glad you brought this up. I'm reminded of a very specific line from this movie that also raised some eyebrows in the group watch, and that is, we shouldn't both be wet at the same time. Now, it's a really weird line.
It's a weird line.
For a lot of reasons. Mike's like, I shouldn't have come on the show. Listen, A, what the fuck does that mean? B, why? C, someone wrote that.
But like, also genuinely, like, lesbians at the time, from what I understand, would go around calling themselves sisters and stuff in order to like avoid being like labeled lesbians or being outed that way. They don't look alike, like, at all. So like, I can totally see, but then obviously there's that whole notion has to be torpedoed by all the creepy men, and ending up with men. But they travel together a lot. They sleep in the same bed. They do straight up kiss in this movie, which we can say confidently puts it above Wings on How Gay Was My Valley, which Wings did have very close male kissing action. So
that's true. Between several men as well. It's not just the main characters. The French Here's Your Metal people also did kiss.
So does that raises the issue then, Alex? Do we want to rank the Broadway Melody higher or lower than Wings on How Gay Was My Valley?
I mean, I think the fact just purely that like they slept in the same bed, like open, like pretty plainly kissed. I think honestly, like there's a competition, but it's not that close. I think we can pretty confidently say that the Broadway Melody, Melody is kind of gayer than Wings.
It is gayer. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The new ranking on How Gay Is My Valley: number 1, the Broadway Melody; number 2, Wings. We'll be back next week with our next one, All Quiet on the Western Front, as we continue to chronicle how gay, intentionally or unintentionally, are these movies. Thank you for tuning into How Gay Is My Valley. We'll see you next week.
All right, the rankings have been updated from what I'm told. Anybody else? Any thoughts? How gay is this movie?
Yeah, from the opening scene, I didn't realize they were sisters. I thought they were actually lovers. So,
this movie, honestly, this movie goes up maybe a half star if they have an openly gay lesbian couple in the 1920s as stars. Honestly, does not fix doesn't fix.
I hate you.
Doesn't fix the problems in it, but I would at least commend the movie for having that in 1929.
Yep. We're getting all we can out of the pre-code years. Mike,
we are.
Any thoughts?
We saw a bare shoulder woman in tub in this movie, which like definitely pre-code. That's pre-code. In the code, they just shot that director. That would be dead.
Yeah. Mr. Hanley, any thoughts on how gay this movie is?
Yeah, the beginning definitely. If you don't know what you're getting in, like if you don't know anything about the movie, you could assume that they may be together. But with everything else that happens, give it 50-50 scale.
Interesting. Very interesting. Jack.
Yeah,
thoughts on the gay?
Thoughts on the gay?
I feel like everything I had to say about the How Gay Was My Valley segment was said. So I think it's just safe to say this film is pretty gay, especially for the 20s.
Okay, yeah, we're getting pretty gay on this show already.
I can't wait. I can't wait till we get to like Moonlight and it doesn't rank number 1 on How Gay Was My Valley.
Yeah, because it's like. Yeah, I mean it's kind of gay. I guess.
Like Moonlight's like kind of gay, but like, is it as gay as Wings? That's gonna be the question we have going into that episode.
It's like pretty gay, but it could be gayer. That's gonna be our conclusion. Could be gayer. Could be gayer.
Could be gayer. The movie with openly gay men could be gayer.
Could be gayer.
Could be gayer.
All right. What else happened? What else is weird about this movie?
I
We're
don't
just
know.
gonna
The fact that
address
it has
all the
one
issues
song.
up front.
It just has one song of note.
Yeah.
How many
okay,
songs
well,
actually are there? Are there actually only 2
There's
songs?
7 songs.
There's
throughout the
7
whole thing.
songs?
Yeah.
What are
let's
are
see.
5 of them the Broadway Melody?
No. We have the Broadway. We have Broadway Melody. We have
Okay.
Love Boat. You
Which
were
one
meant
is Love
for
Boat?
me. Oh, hang on. Wedding of the
It's the one that
Painted
isn't
Doll.
Broadway Melody.
They're all...
Boyfriend. That's 2 words. Boyfriend. Truthful Deacon Brown and Lovely Lady.
I guarantee you, none of these are in the movie. I don't
Honestly,
remember any of these.
I can only remember like 4 singing segments in like the whole, and one of them is just because there's like a stage, like there's the opening song where they're like, everybody come around, listen to this with the clarinet, and one guy
And it's the
playing
Broadway Melody.
Yeah, there's like a segment with like the uncle where they're like, here, I have the song for you, which I also think is a Broadway Melody.
That's also the Broadway Melody.
There's like the stage on there's the segment on stage where they like production tries to kill
Where they do the kick
each
line,
other.
right? Where they do
Yeah,
the
the
kick line
kick line.
86. That is also the Broadway Melody.
I think potentially we may have confused ourselves here, but honestly, even if they're not all the same song, all the songs sound exactly the same.
Here's the thing. There's only one time where I can confidently say that song is not the Broadway Melody. And it is the one that is super fucking creepy. And he's singing to Queenie in the apartment. Where he's like, I wrote this song about you. It's for you. And then he pins her against the wall. Which is hella fucking creepy. And I think that's something
Lovely
about
Lady.
angels. Lovely ladies. I don't know. Is there one
You were
about
meant
angels?
for me, maybe.
You Were Meant for Me. I feel like it's You Were Meant for Me.
Yeah, that's
Here's the thing.
probably it.
Are we confident all those are songs, or are some of these like score pieces that they're playing? Because
don't
that's my
know.
question. Where it's like, when it comes to actual singing the song,
It says
there's
for
only
one
2
of them,
that I can remember.
Truthful Deacon Brown, music and lyrics by
I'm
Willard
guessing
Ross.
I will actually
The
say
other
I
ones
do
are
remember
also
this. I think that's the one where the Roman guard guy is singing at the end,
Yeah.
where you're like seeing a piece of what the rest of the show looks like. I think that's what that one is.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
Either way, I think none of us are musical experts necessarily. I think Koho maybe would probably give himself that distinction out of all of us. Our beloved
Probably.
Spence is not here.
I'm probably the closest thing we have to a musical expert on this panel. Yeah.
And I will say this: if you made a musical and all the songs sound the same, you've done a bad job. You've done a horrid job.
Rough.
Thoughts on the music in Broadway Melody, Jack?
Forgettable. I can't remember who this quote exactly is from, but basically, if I watch a musical and I'm not humming one of the songs after watching it, you failed.
I think that's Boatman. I think that's a Boatman line.
That sounds
It's
like
either
a
a Boatman or a Kirk line, one of the two.
I definitely think it's a Boatman line.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case, I cannot recall a song from this film. I saw it 3 days ago, I think, and I can't remember jack shit from it. About any of the music. Like, gun to my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between 2 songs. I wouldn't even be able to tell you the what one song sounds like. Like it's forgettable, and I just have no desire to even attempt to revisit this film.
Yeah. Ain't no 3090.
That's a fucking fact.
Matthew, why are we here? What are we doing? Thoughts on the song?
Yeah, no, I mean they're very forgettable, and like we've said, they all sound the same, and I still don't know what they sound like. So
yeah, that's like a new level of like, it's not just that they sound the same, is that I don't remember what they were at all. Like, oh goodness. Okay, Mike.
Yeah, you guys have all basically said what I was thinking. They're all very bland. They all pretty much all mesh together. But I will say the movie is called The Broadway Melody, and the one song you remember is The Broadway Melody. So I guess for that sake, they did some type of job. At least you know one of the songs, which is the title of the movie.
I guess. And here's the thing: can I even then still sing you the song outside of the title Broadway Melody? No,
That's all you need.
I can't.
Broadway Melody.
I wonder.
Okay.
I wonder who MGM had to pay to get this to win Best Picture. Like who did MGM just
mean,
give an absorbent amount of $75 to in order to get the Switch.
I mean,
Probably-
it's early, but I think this is an interesting segue for this movie. All right, has anyone ever seen any of the other Best Picture nominees for this year? I mean,
Is this-
specifically Alibi, Hollywood Review, In Old Arizona, or The Patriot, which I believe is actually a lost film.
Matthew, hit the song.
Extra credit.
Extra credit. Welcome to the Extra Credit Picks podcast within a podcast. I am your host again, Kaleb, Coho, with my co-host Alex. And what we've got today is I think me and Jack watched In Old Arizona. I think that's what we watched.
I didn't actually. I didn't have time.
Old Arizona.
I didn't have time.
I'm the only one who did the extra credit.
Yes.
Uh,
And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, In Old Arizona is marginally better than the Broadway Melody.
Okay.
It's boring. It is shorter, and yet feels longer. It won Best Actor that year for Warren Baxter. I believe is his name, who plays the Cisco Kid, and he is mildly amusing. He is mildly amusing in his performance. Honestly, In Old Arizona should have won Best Picture over the Broadway Melody, but I think we can chalk it up with those two being the two big contenders in that year. Let's just go ahead and chalk this one up to 1929 being an awful year for movies. If this was the crop that they were like, this is the best of the best in film, I think we could like chalk it up that we should have canceled the Oscars in 1929 and come back in 1930 and said, here we go. We'll run it back in 1930. Because this was, both of them, really not enjoy. But In Old Arizona, better than the Broadway Melody.
all right. Also
That brings up the
nominated.
question, man.
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Please.
I was gonna say, as the only one who has seen In Old Arizona, then I would then say if we're stacking it against the other previous extra credit pick, and we rank the extra credit picks, and we're by ranking those, Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans, significantly better than In Old Arizona. It's like significantly. Was very surprised because I did not even I don't adore Sunrise as much as like The World Over, but it's a solid 3.5 star good movie. In Old Arizona, like 2 stars, a generous 2 stars. So I would say Sunrise, definitely number 1 on the extra credit ranking so far, I would say.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right. So also nominated the year of the Broadway Melody is Alibi, a crime melodrama, which experimented a great deal with sound, music, and camera angles, starring Chester Morris, Harry Stubbs, Mae Bush, and Regis Tomei.
I thought you were about to say Regis Philbin, and I was gonna be like, I didn't know that guy was that old.
Another MGM pick, The Hollywood Review of 1929. Another pre-code musical from MGM. In Old Arizona, and I believe now it is a lost film, and The Patriot, a semi-autobiographical film about the story of Emperor Paul I of Russia. You know, what the people want. It sounds like a horrid year for Best Picture, honestly, NGL.
I honestly probably should have watched Alibi. Alibi sounds the most interesting now going off
Is there
this.
like a dope-looking poster?
My whole strategy of let's just take a dart, throw it at the list, and whatever it hits that sounds the most interesting in title only has failed me in week 2. It has literally failed me in week 2 with In Old Arizona. I was like, In Old Arizona sounds the coolest. Let's watch it. Oh, should have watched Alibi. Should have watched Alibi.
All right, this actually leads me to the question that I was previously going to ask, because we've got now kind of 2 bummer years in a row.
Yeah.
Is this just like the Oscars being bad, just like at first? Was there an enormous bag of cash that was exchanged, or is this deserved? The movie that I gave exactly 1 star.
I feel like I can kind of paint a picture as to why this won Best Picture is because sound.
Honestly, that's a good guess. It's a musical.
It's
the
MGM's
first musical
first
to win the
musical.
Oscar. Sound was still relatively new at the time, and this has a lot of sound. It's not good sound, but it's a lot.
I can tell you, they went nuts on the opening scene and putting as much noise as they could, just so they could be like, guys, guess what? Sound.
Yep, pretty much. Other than that, I have no I cannot think of a single plausible reason why this would win Best Picture. Although, to be fair, film was still in its infancy back in 1929, so we can chalk it up to film still not being as good as it was, short of 5 years later.
Can we also not think about the fact that there are movies that weren't nominated that we still consider like super classics? Like Metropolis came out somewhere in this time period, right? And like the General
was
and the
27.
Yeah, so that's two right there that were eligible for the first Oscars that weren't nominated, but we still talk about those two.
Jazz Singer was eligible.
The Jazz Singer was nominated for below the line stuff, but like that's another one where it's like that was not nominated for an above the line Oscar in the first Oscars. There's movies that it's like, and people say the Jazz Singer is terrible and awful. I don't know, probably
that's
what I've heard too. But at least those are three films we've heard of almost 100 years later that we still talk about 100 years later, and they're not nominated for any form of an Academy Award. And they were eligible for the first award. So at this point, we have to go, is this like genuinely what they thought were the best movies of their year and that they overlooked? Or is there nothing to overlook? Because at the first Oscar, they definitely overlooked movies we'd heard of today. And maybe they overlooked them because they just weren't huge for them in that year. But like, are there snubs in 1929? Do we have any idea of what a snub would be at the second Oscars?
Well, I'm looking up 1929 movies.
Yeah, let's look this up because, for example, this took a nomination for Best Actress, and I think that's it. Like it took the
Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Picture were the nominees.
I mean, Alfred Hitchcock has a movie called The Manx Man, or The Manx Man. I don't know, but I've never heard of that.
I've also heard that Hitchcock is low-key terrible before the 1940s.
Yeah, early Hitchcock isn't very good.
That's true.
We get to like 30, whenever, I guess 40 maybe, because like Rebecca.
Yeah, The Gold Diggers of Broadway, never heard of that one. I'm just looking at different movies released that year.
Now, the Broadway Melody, I'll say this, was the highest grossing film of this year, which I'm suspecting, not to make any accusations, but I'm suspecting had a major part to do with this.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't think of a single.
Greta Garbo movie called The Kiss. Glorify Sally and Wild Orchids.
Buster Keaton film called Spite Marriage.
Condemned to Devil's Island. Big news.
Yeah, no.
See, my thing is, none of the movies that when we Google it are things I think I've even heard of.
Yeah.
So we're at that spot where we just have to be like, so were there just not any other movies?
This was the best one? This was the best foot forward, or was it just the most popular one?
Maybe both, because Wings.
Yeah, both.
Because we said this last week too, where at the first Oscars, 2 films won Best Picture, and the one that they chose to recognize was the one that was the more popular movie within that year as the first Best Picture winner. But we all talked about it last week how Sunrise is so much better than Wings, that Sunrise should have been recognized as the first Best Picture winner, or they should have recognized them both and said 2 films won Best Picture in the first year. So like, I think we're in that spot where like we look at this year and maybe this was the best movie for that, but like it wasn't because they nominated In Old Arizona, and that is better. Marginally, it's marginally better, but it's better. So maybe Alibi is a perfect, like, great movie, but we haven't seen Alibi. So
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Everybody watch Alibi and tell us what you think. We're not going to do it because like we'll have other stuff
we moved
to do.
on.
Yeah, we have other. Yeah, we have other things to do this year. Okay, great. Honestly, I don't. This is like kind of a bummer week, and I don't really want to be here very long because shitting on this movie, because like we don't have other stuff to do. What we got to be doing, but like,
should we give our reviews? Like, our
what are your star rankings, Jack?
Well, I'll start because I'm the lowest. Yeah, I gave it half a star. I found absolutely no joy in this film. Like in watching it, the sound, even for a film released at that time, was terrible. But like, yeah, no, the performances I wasn't a huge fan of, except for maybe Bessie Love, and even then, couldn't really tell the difference between her and Anita Page's character that often. All the guys in it were creeps. No redeemable male characters at all, really. Bad music, bad like the song, the Broadway Melody wasn't good at all. I've got nothing nice to say about this film, so I'm good to just move on to the next ones.
I'll go next. I'll say that I gave this like a full star. It's really tough for me to say that as well, because I think like if you put up the lights and you had a script and you brought out the actors, I think that's worth at least a star and a half. But when I can't like remember or even like some of them, I think it's really tough for me to say that this is an okay movie. Or like you know, we've talked about some of the things that I call mid. Like mid is like average is what I mean when I say that. I don't mean to say that it's bad. I just mean to say that, like, you know what, this is the middle ground. We are significantly below mid. We're at kill it before it lays eggs. I don't necessarily plan on watching a whole lot of the other Broadway Melody series, but if they're like this, I will want to self-immolate. 1 out of 5 stars. That's the best I can do. Mr. Chen, what do you think?
I believe Coho's next.
Mr. Chen, what do you think?
I thought we were going by score. Never mind.
Nope.
Yeah, I think it's also just like a boring movie as well. But like I like musicals, so like I find that at least like maybe there's some like amusing musical moments, and like, you know, I'm not gonna remember any of the songs or anything, but I think it's also just an interesting look at sound, like at the time how technology was used. But yeah, I think some mediocre performances and a creepy romance brings it down.
Yeah. I went into this probably the most open-minded out of everyone. Because all of you guys like watched it together on some call that I couldn't have been on. And I just saw a flood of like star and 1.5 and half, and just how terrible fucking reviews this movie was. And I was like, well, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt that these guys are just being really, really harsh on it. And by the time I got like pretty far into it, I was like, oh no, they're right. This is just like really not good. I gave it a full star because I don't consider this torture under maritime law, which if you haven't ever looked into my rating system literally half stars are almost as unobtainable as 5 stars. And it's actually probably easier to get a 5 star than it is a half star from me. Because it has to literally constitute as torture under maritime law for me to give you a half star. I don't call this torture. I just call this bad. I think it is definitely a bad movie. I don't want to, but I could probably watch this again and get through it fine. I think that the 2 women are fine. I think they're somewhat enjoyable performances. So I held on to those enough to bump it above a half star. So yeah, I don't think this is like garbage, horrible, torturous, dog shit filmmaking, but I definitely think it is horrible, terrible, dog shit filmmaking minus the torturous. So,
and Mr. Hammer.
Okay, so let's preface this for people that don't know.
Yep.
My letterboxd ranking started at 2. So technically, I gave this one a 1 as well. It's a fucking movie to me, which is, for me, a 3 star. I'm kind of with Matthew where it is an interesting look on sound during that era. I'm not a big musical guy. Yes, it's a fucking movie. Exactly. The songs pretty much blend together. The 2, Anita and Bessie, they're fine. You know, they're serviceable. And Charles as Eddie is, you know, at least we know his fucking name. Other than that, yeah. I've definitely seen worse movies, but I've definitely seen way better movies than this.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Spence isn't here, but we do.
Spence is not here, but do we have thoughts from Spence? From Beyond the Void?
I don't know. Spence, do you have any thoughts? If you're still in the chat.
A 1.5 out of 5. That seems very Spence. Are we gonna be, just because I'm curious, Jack? When you're gonna do this, are you gonna use Mike's score, or are you gonna use Spence's score? Or are you
Oh
gonna
no, we
all
use
of them?
Spence's. We have to use Spence's.
We use Spence's. We use
Yeah.
Spence's.
Yeah. Like here's the thing:
Lowest rated
as much as we love Mike
Yes.
and any other
We
guests
do.
we bring on as our replacements, you are so fucking inconsequential to this project.
Yeah.
Um,
What's
Well, yeah, you brought
There's-
me on to a
there's
fucking
this-
musical too. Like you guys
Well,
are
that too.
fucking
But,
insane.
like-
first of all,
But like when we bring in like you or Bar or whoever, the guest is here just to give extra thoughts and fill in the fifth chair. But the decisions on like where ranking and aggregates, we gotta take the 5 people who are gonna be on this every week as much as unless Spence gets to the point where they're like, oh, I'm not on the show anymore after the first one, and we have to keep putting Mike on. If that's the case, we will go back, let Mike readjust the score for Wings, and move on. Like if we have to replace someone, we'll find a permanent replacement and we will redeem their part of the podcast.
Yep.
But I think with that, we gotta rank this shit, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, this is gonna be super simple. This is the worst movie that I've seen this year. And I've seen Morbius this year, fam. Fam,
See, here's
this
the
year
thing.
I saw
I've
Wonder by the
seen-
dozen.
I've seen so many Twilights this year that I can't put this lower than any of the Twilights.
No, because you'll remember something coming out of Twilight. This is the one thing I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight you on this, Coho, because I know that you hate the Twilight movies.
They're awful.
You definitely said that. You
I will
definitely
say
said
this
they're
right
awful.
now. The Broadway Melody is 1 star, which means it is better. It is better than 3 of the Twilights. It is as good as Eclipse and Breaking Dawn Part 2, and honestly, I would rank it higher than Eclipse and Breaking Dawn Part 2 on a list.
Oh my god, you're full of nonsense.
I'm sorry,
You're
all
full
the
of
Twilights,
absolute non-
all the Twilights are just such
The fact
genuinely
that
horrendously
the
made
first
movies.
Twilight movie has an aesthetic and lines.
This
that
also
you
has
might remember.
an aesthetic.
No,
Neither
it
movie are
doesn't.
good.
It doesn't.
Neither movie are good.
Neither movie are good. Well, we're gonna fight on that.
Yeah, you will. But here, I think
coming soon
let's
to a
just
page near
do
you.
the-
Let's love Twilight, and Coho will be there for every episode.
I think what we'll do is we should just go around the list here and just be like better or worse than Wings, and then we can move on.
Better or worse than Wings? Don't you dare bring them on. Don't you dare bring them on, Jack. How do I put this? Wings is probably the worst Best Picture winner that I've ever seen. That is a list of like 12 or 13, but I'm still going to put it there. It's not like a nominal insult yet, but I don't see many things being worse. So I will put it, I'm going to say it, it's below Wings.
Damn.
Okay.
Jack?
It's below Wings for me as well. I gave Wings a 3 star. This is a half star. It's very easy for me.
Matthew?
Yeah, it's definitely below Wings.
So that seals it right then and there that it is our new ranking officially being number 1 Wings, number 2 the Broadway Melody. But I would also put the Broadway Melody below Wings on my personal ranking.
I don't know if, Mike, have you seen
yeah,
Wings?
I've seen Wings.
Would you say
I would say this is worse than Wings for sure.
Okay, great. Clean sweep across the board. We all...
I'm guessing
I know-
Spence would also put the Broadway Melody below Wings.
I hope so.
They put it above, I think.
Oh, that's right. They put it.
They
above.
said that they
Oh,
put it
Spence
above.
is the only one to put the Broadway Melody above
and I
Wings.
said this, Spence is going to be the outlier on this. Spence thought that this was better than Wings, and we were all like, nah. No, that's not making it past the Senate. That's not making it past. That's not in this house. It's not in this house.
Here's the thing that I will give Spence on this though, is that I would probably genuinely rather watch the Broadway Melody again than Wings because it's shorter.
Yeah,
But if
because
I'm going to rank this on which experience I think was a better made movie, it's Wings. I think Wings is the better made movie. I think the romance works better in Wings, whether it is a closeted gay love story or an actual love triangle like it wants to be. No matter what, I think the story of Wings and the action of Wings puts it above the Broadway Melody. But the Broadway Melody is about 40 minutes shorter, so I would rather watch the Broadway Melody, and it also has sound. So, but I will say that's why I put Wings above the Broadway Melody. But literally, I think both these movies are not great movies. So,
Yeah. Okay. So we pretty much unanimously agreed that, I mean, at least with the people that bothered to show up today, I guess we really didn't punish Spence, and I guess we should. So here's what we're gonna do, Spence, because I want to really dissuade people from not being here, not being here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 30 seconds. I'm gonna just pull up my little phone here. We're gonna put 30 seconds, and at the same time, just all together, we are going to just say 30 seconds of continuous insults. They're just gonna have
About
30
Spence
seconds
or about things that they like?
about Spence.
Why not both?
No, hold on.
Oh,
We should. I actually don't think we should make it about Spence. I think we should make it about things that Spence genuinely likes.
Okay,
And give
here's what we're gonna do.
Because
I'm gonna give
that
you all
would
1
be
minute.
better because they will get personally destroyed if we bring up how awful the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 is over and over and
Should
over.
we-
So,
should we put
so
Spence
everybody,
in the call for
everybody
this?
go to Letterboxd and find
Okay.
a movie that Spence really likes, and we're just
Right.
gonna. I'll give you 1 minute to look this up.
Should we?
Oh, look how quickly you show up. Oh, look how quickly. Oh, look, Spence is actually here in our little green room. You're not
Should
coming
we
in.
put Spence in the call while we
No,
insult? their take?
we do not. No,
absolutely
we do not.
No,
No, we do
no,
not.
absolutely
So much for,
not.
oh man, I can't be here this week to talk about the Broadway Melody.
Yeah,
but
in the
no.
chat the entire time. So here's what we're gonna do. Oh, I found mine. That's so easy. Yeah,
I found mine.
Hold up.
Yeah.
I'm looking for mine right now.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for mine.
I've claimed
Right.
mine. I'm the only one who's going to do this one anyway.
And actually, mine's gonna make a lot of people angry. I know that because I already said to Koho what it. Me and Koho talked about how much I hate this movie yesterday, and he was personally offended and shocked.
Wait, really?
Oh.
Which one are we talking about?
Aladdin,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
noted Aladdin hater.
Okay.
AMC over here. Just everybody, let me know when you have one.
I have mine. Matthew, do you have yours?
I don't.
Oh shit. No, what? I've got mine.
Okay.
And we all just scream insults.
Yeah, just
about
30
the-
continuous seconds on how this thing that Spence likes is bad. We're all gonna do it at the exact same time. We're all
Okay,
gonna be
perfect.
talking at once, so it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Mike.
Fucking I'm fucking.
It's all right. We'll wait. This show can go on as long as it needs.
Well,
to.
wait. Well, this will be a 3-hour show if it needs to be, where it's just gonna be 3 hours of continuous dogging out Spence the entire time.
God damn it.
Oh, what is Spence?
Yeah, it can be Coda, like perks of being a wallflower. Like it doesn't matter.
Oh no, Mike. Honestly, right now, Mike, pick perks and say shit you don't even mean. Just do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do perks and just say shit you don't even mean.
I like that.
Just destroy perks of being a wallflower. Do it. All right.
All right. So I have it here.
All right.
30
You let me know
seconds.
when we're ready.
Yeah, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Stanley
Aladdin
Kubrick's
is
Aladdin is one of the most
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
films.
yeah.
It's nothing but empowerment to do horrible, shitty things, and it's the reason why Harvey Weinstein got power. A Clockwork Orange is so abusive to women. It should be banned. It's one of the most horrifically filmed and directed films ever. Malcolm McDowell should have been stripped of his SAG membership.
I can't
Kubrick should have been
believe
blacklisted from
that.
Hollywood. He should never be
It's
allowed to make
crazy.
films again.
How
I'm
well
glad
you-
Kubrick
I
is
like
dead
it.
because A Clockwork
Like,
Orange
this
is
should be done
terrible.
a remake. Oh, and that's it. That's that's it. That's enough of that. We don't need that. So yeah.
What movies did we pick? Because all I heard was my shit talk of A Clockwork Orange.
Twilight.
Aladdin.
Matthew, what'd you do?
The perks of being a wallflower.
Did we have two people doing perks?
Well, good because that movie deserves it.
And then
That movie definitely deserved to be dogged out. Fuck Steven Chbosky. Yeah. So don't miss.
Yeah.
So
don't
next
mess
week.
up. We'll tear your shit apart.
Next week is what? All Quiet on the Western Front.
Next week, I'm glad you brought that up because next week is actually All Quiet on the Western Front, followed I think by Cimarron.
Cimarron.
Yeah.
What? No,
And,
that's not wrong.
No, yeah,
That's not
Cimarron's
wrong.
No, Cimarron is
Cimarron.
next.
Yeah,
Cimarron,
Cimarron,
I think,
yeah.
is next.
Yes.
And then
I know that I had.
oh no, actually, is Grand Hotel I think somewhere in there as well.
Then it's Grand
That was
Hotel.
happening.
Cimarron, then Grand Hotel, then Cavalcade, and then It Happened One Night. So we should be starting on like a road of just like good movies, or
Yeah.
at the very least, serviceably entertaining movies.
We're kind of out of the rut that we had to start in because it was
Right.
like
Yeah.
So what is the extra credit people are doing next week? Because I've heard both the Divorcee and Disraeli. I think I'm doing Disraeli for next week as the extra credit.
I am doing. Let me find the nominees from that year. I'm probably going to do.
Basically, it's a pick of would you rather do the one that won Best Actor or the one that won Best Actress? Because then
I don't know
best
which
writing.
one which, so I'm probably going to go with the Divorcee.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm
Best
planning to do.
Actress. You're going with Best Actress because I'm going with Best Actor, which is Disraeli. So we'll be able to come to the table and talk about the two acting winners that year.
Yeah.
And the films they were in relation to All Quiet on the Western Front, which won Best Picture and Best Director that year. So
Great. So I guess if anybody has any like closing thoughts, I kind of just want to wrap this episode up because I feel like we've sufficiently beat this.
We've sufficiently taken up the day of Jesus' resurrection, so we can just
happy Easter.
Happy
Broadway
Easter.
Melody will be back because they made more of them. They made more Broadway Melodies.
We will not be talking about any of those on the show, though.
I don't think so.
No.
None of them were nominated for Best Picture again.
No, yeah,
Nope.
that's true. So we don't. Yeah, fuck them.
Never coming back. Instead, we're going to talk about war, death, destruction, and probably Lewis Milestone.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody have any closing thoughts? If not, Jack, take us out, baby.
All right.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
That sucked.